What I did find is Snoopa, as he's pointing out, queuing in 2v2s versus Serral and Zhuge Liang. He uses the excuse that he was with a random, but is that to make him look cooler when he wins? Or so he has a get out of jail free when he loses? Let's find out as we hop in. So, let's have a look and see what we've got here. It's going to be Wetlands in a 2v2. And looks like Zhuge Liang is going to be whipping out the English. Notice he does this a lot, actually. Zhuge Liang used to be pretty hardcore French, but I feel like whenever I've checked on him more recently, this dude is constantly playing the English. Serral, on the other hand, has kind of flexed a bit more. It used to be that if you checked out Serral, you were always looking at a guy playing the Roost. This guy loved the Roost Civ. In fact, when he used to play 1v1s a lot, it was his go-to Civ back in the era of fast Castle Age rushes when Pro Scouts were still good. But Serral has kind of evolved. He's changed that beast a little. He's decided he wants to get even better heavy cavalry type units, which is why we do frequently now see him playing as the French. And French are decent. Very strong, actually, in fact, in 2v2s and 3v3s, especially in 2v2s when you're on ladders, right? When there's kind of random configurations. If there isn't a clear structure to the enemy team, you get a lot of opportunities to milk your opponent dry. And we'll have to see if that happens here, because while Zhuge Liang and Serral do know each other, I don't know if Snoopa knows his friend. Because Snoopa, of course, is playing man with hair as the Mongols, and his teammate is, do I even try? They're playing as the Ottomans, whoever they are. Let's see if we can get a translation. This is always the best part of the stream when we do this.
Ailong.
It's Ailong, which I don't know what that means. I-Dragon. It means I-Dragon. So, Dragon and Snoopa. Well, he's going to need a beast, a dragon, to kind of carry this one, because Serral and Zhuge Liang are definitely very familiar with each other. They look pretty comfortable with their strategies. Usually they are a lot more impressive when they're on the aggression. I have seen a few series in the past where they just get completely dismantled because they get stuck on the defensive. But when you consider that they've got the English and the French, they should be able to take this. The question is whether a man who has hair and his sidekick dragon, I don't know how the dragon is the sidekick in this situation, can pull out an upset. Good news for fans of a man who has hair, which, by the way, is becoming a rare thing in the world of Age of Empires 4. It's a world full of boomers, and some of them opt to be bald by choice. Has some spicy strategies. And Snoopa, I'm sure he's got something funky or weird in mind. I just want to know if he's going to be syncing up with his teammate that is on a tempo-aggressive Civ. Because the interesting thing to think about here is they are both playing Civs that can open up with spears and harass their opponents. The problem, though, is they don't want to do it because they're up against the English. It's actually so infuriating. When you get the spicy comp, the one that's meant to just kick one of your opponents in the nuts repetitively for the first 5 minutes of the game, and you simply can't because Zhuge Liang's on his signature English. God, that's annoying. But as soon as I say that, they're going to be attempting anyway. So Snoopa says, well, one opponent has these lombos to worry about quickly in the game, but the other, not so much. The other I want to build spears for. They're heading straight over to Serral's base. Snoopa, of course. Snoopa is much loved amongst the community, has failed to win at anything, but in his eyes, if he can beat Serral in a pub game, that means he is better than the world champion at StarCraft 2. Admittedly, in a different game. But it still counts, folks. It's that type of thing you flex over people. It's that type of thing you go to parties and you tell people. So they know. So they never doubt. However, I'm doubting whether they're getting enough steam behind this boat that they're pushing right now. Because it is a very slow opening from the Ultimate player. No commitment into the racks because he doesn't want to have to do that. But Tech Up is going to complete. Harassment's going to come in. They'll at least be able to torch onto the mining camp. So that's going to be a nice little cheeky bounty going the way of Snoopa, as long as he remembers he has to touch it last. For the time being, he just treats his dragon like his lackey, his little sidekick. He says, you do all the cleanup on the mining camp. I'll come in and touch it last for the glory. And we are going to be seeing the silver tree. Of course. How imaginative and different. I've never seen this before. Mongol players don't do... Wait, sorry. Let me put on my fake hype voice. I can't believe it! Mongol players never do this! This has never been done on wetlands before! Of course, we know that there was sarcasm hinted at there because Silver Tree seems to just be the go-to in about 95% of games right now. Very rare, even in 1v1s, that we see people go for the Deer Stone. In fact, most people just, for a second there, forgot what it was called until I mentioned it out loud. But it has at least been scouted out, so Serral is completely aware of what's coming. Archery range is going to be committed to, so not a fun situation for Serral, actually. Like, when you play team games, especially when you're playing French, your goal is just to be one-dimensional, right? You just want to be obtuse. I said that in a French way on purpose. You simply just want to click 90s, smash with 90s, and that's how you say good nighty to your opponents. If you have to cover archers, especially when your teammate is playing as English, something feels like it's gone wrong. And I can tell you what's gone wrong here. Zhuge and Serral, when they play a lot, I feel like Zhuge is leaning more into being the boomer and Serral more the kind of map present force. As a result of that, we can see it's just been farms galore and a lack of longbow push. First one is only now hitting the field for Zhuge. Actually, sorry, second one did just come out. But the interesting part to me is that no pressure was put on him. But Zhuge didn't try to play on fish. He immediately went into farms. And a lot of players tend to just avoid this, right? Like, it's usually quite optimal to play off of fish ponds on wetlands. That's why the English can be pretty popular, because the generation can be generous. And a lot of these early rushes that come out with spears tend to fall flat with the threat of the villagers that have their bows. What goes wrong, Zhuge farm? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't hate on this man's farm placement. Look at it. We're going old style here, baby. Where's the Vortex build, actually? I'm pretty sure Zhuge was watching around that time. I'm pretty sure it was Vortex that was the one that came up with the let's make a Space Invader character as you build your farms around the edge of the TSC. Wait, I missed you losing villages? Oh, no. No. Did you really? How? Wait, did you lose a villager to a scout? Snoopa. Oh, okay, the knight came in. Okay, that's better. I was about to say, I think you've been doing the villager challenges a bit too much if you lost a villager to the scout, right? These ones aren't as disposable. So looks like knight raids are starting to come in. In fact, we should probably switch into fog mode. Fog's usually a lot easier to keep track of these things. Looks like you did take the knight with you, though, so... Or not. Okay. Ignore that thought. So opening-wise, I'm curious to know what Dragon's going to be doing here. It looks like they're going to be covering the archer element of the comp, and I think their goal is just going to be to buy time so that Snoopa can be a greedy son of a gun. Right? Like, he's got his trade online. He wants to boom it up. He's even setting up the outpost along the way to get the goodies faster. Wouldn't be surprised if Snoopa tries to boom up to like 12 to 14 traders, supplement himself with horsemen, and then look towards Castle Age. And it'll be something that you feel like you can get away with until you see what Zhuge was about to do. And that's the problem right now, is if you thought I needed glasses, you should check out Snoopa's vision on the map. He doesn't really see much here. He's so paranoid about the trade, he forgets that he has to drop that trade off somewhere. Somewhere that Zhuge is looking to intercept. So we are going to see him start getting into those longbows. And we said that Zhuge sometimes likes to play the boomer, at least in the initial phases. You can now see that Serral's taken over with his own greed as we're going for the second TC as the French. Has got the knights here as well, and where is Dragon? Where is Dragon's army? Well, this simply won't do. Wrong place, wrong time. Now, they could easily move in and stop this trade entirely. The problem they do have is they don't have as many melee units as they would like to dive this outpost, so arrow slits could be problematic. There's definitely an opportunity here. As long as they don't wait around too long. See, the problem, though, is... From our perspective, we look here, we're like, okay, they should be pressuring. And Snoopa's going to be aware of this. He's going to have to pivot. His teammates probably going to have to react as well. Serral doesn't actually want to commit because of the secondary TC investment. He wants to eco-boom up, and I imagine Zhuge is feeling the same way as he layers in additional farms. Problem with that, though, is someone forgot to walk quick enough, and Serral might be spotted being a greedy boy. Dragon strikes in. A lot of villagers here as well. Not enough room to garrison all of them. Only a limited force of archers, though. Will make the dive difficult. Especially when you start attacking the town center. Not really the best thing to do. It's the type of move that I'd make in one of my games. The TC assisting. I think this fight is actually going to go his way. And oh, Dragon. Dragon went in for the Imam. Now, there are some comps where I quite like the Imam. The early Imam investments. Remember, you use a Vizier point to get 2 of them, and they heal an AoE. I don't necessarily like it against the French, though, because I think unless you're willing to add in spears, it's way too easy to have these units sniped. And the problem with that is you only get 2 of them. That's it. And you invest a vizier point for that. And there you go. That is exactly what I was talking about. The problem is that knights are here. You have no spears to defend. You just invested a vizier point. A meta would have gotten you more value because if you used the point on the meta instead, not only would you have got a free meta, but you would have got that movement speed buff to all additional metas you build. Now, this whole idea of the Imam value doesn't come back in until Castle Age, and that's not coming anytime soon for Dragon, but it is coming soon for Snoopa. The trade was allowed to go, and as a result, he's now making his way up. It is going to be the step readout because Snoopa is not insane. He's a bit wacky sometimes, you know. Fabulous hair like that does tend to like weave itself into your brain and manipulate you in weird ways, but he hasn't quite lost the plot to the point that he's willing to build a Kurultai. Kurultais are the quickest way to regret even installing the game. I'm just going to go out on a whim right now and say Kurultai is like it's bottom 3 landmarks, 100%. It actually has to be the worst tier 3 landmark in the game. There are tier 2 landmarks that are better than Kurultai. I've been having this argument with people at the moment. Abbey of Kings is a better Kurultai. Isn't that insane? The fact that I can even say that, and it's true, is insane. But Kurultai, I don't know what happened, right? Someone in the Relic office hates Mongols because they did not need to be kneecapped on the Kurultai. For some reason, they took away the lingering damage buff. And ever since they've done that, the damage buff is irrelevant. It feels next to unusable. Like, it used to be that with that lingering damage buff, the risk-reward balance of that landmark was good. But now, it feels so difficult to use well that, like, you're working 5 times harder for the reward that you're getting. That's not to say it doesn't have very, very pocketed uses, but they are so incredibly rare. I mean, even the idea of playing around Siege feels difficult to pull off just simply because you have to have the Kurultai in position. You disagree? What, with the entire statement or Abbey of Kings being better? My logic on Abbey of Kings being better is it's a tier 2 landmark versus a tier 3 landmark. Luckily, we don't have to see it fail in this game because Snoopa is looking pretty strong with Vizika. He did have to short the route a little bit as he pulled the Silver Tree back, but he's still underway. Remember, he's the first one to make their way up as well. No, Veggie, the buff it no longer lingers on the Kurultai. This is why I'm saying it's one of the worst things ever. You get 1 HP a second compared to 6 HP a second, or every 1.5 seconds it might have been, from the Abbey of Kings. And you get a damage buff that no longer lingers. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kurultai. And that's why we don't see it. Anytime I've seen it in the last month or 2, it's looked terrible. Anyway, I'm going to stop ranting on that. We're going to see an assault in instead. They choose to strike here. Zhuge Liang is mostly on his own because we know Serral was out trying to raid the other side of the map. So good time to march in. It's going to force a lot of idle in the base of the English and possibly kill off a lot as well, as there are Lancers in the mixer. The Drummer Boys, 3 of them means you can't just snipe them down quickly. Very key detail there when you're up against Lombo masses like this. Villagers, oh, there's nowhere safe for them to run. Even if they go to the second TC, there's double the amount of people to their garrison points here. So still going to be a heavy hit. And Zhuge Liang, like, this is one of the annoying things when you play the English. If you don't wall yourself up, it's very hard to maneuver up against these cavalry comps. He's trying to minimize the casualties, but now with the Ottoman army committing in as well, it looks like Snoopa and his dragon have gotten together. Sounds like a beautiful Disney story to be told. Although Serral has now arrived. Archers are going to be in trouble. Serral will be able to push them to the backside. The best thing that can happen now is Dragon can drag them to the back of the base to waste time. Essentially dragging on this fight. Thank you, I'm Hero Week. And behind this, he should be able to look towards a tech up or a reboom himself, because he already made his way up, so he has got the Imperial Armory, so now he's going to get the troops out. This is all buying time. This is actually brilliant, folks. Take note, when you're playing your games, do this, especially on 2v2 maps, because it's so much larger. Now, Serral, who would have been in a prime position to raid as the tech up came out from Dragon, is on the opposite side of the map. Snoopa tries to justify can't damage is not if you keep it alive. Yeah, but you have to stay in range of the Kurultai. Like, Snoopa, you have no argument in this. Your army isn't here anymore. You ran away, you coward. We can discuss this more after the game, but for now, we're just going to watch poor little Dragon's army get butchered down, every last one chopped off the block. Tech up is underway for Serral. Zhuge Liang, he just needs to fix his gold, and he'll be up as well. Now, could be free TC, could be that he wants to go for the White Tower as well. I'm sensing greed in the future, though. Anyone else feel like we're about to see a King's Palace be dropped? I can feel it, I can smell it, I can taste it. Taste of greed. Raids in. Oh, gonna continue to be a nuisance as Serral finds his eco under assault from a few remaining lancers, but will be cleaned up, so Snoopa is going to be reset for the moment. And chooses not to commit more into the Black Void. Instead, he's going to start amassing an army. They're going to need it fast. Remember, he's up against the French. They did go for the Royal Institute, a detail that Snoopa may not have actually scouted out. But usually you can assume it. I feel like we're at a stage where Royal Institute is going to be seen in more games than Guildhall, even in team games now. So people anticipate it. They play around the expectation it will be there. Meanwhile, in this reset, it's going to be a very important time for the Ottoman player. Just escalate that army passively. Remember, he's not paying for a lot of what's coming out here. I say that, actually, he's only got 2 military schools, so he's going to fix that now with 2 additionals. He has still got the Memo and Imperial Armory, which is saving him a lot on the siege element of his comp, and at the same time, no one on the other side is countering. And looks like Zhuge Liang is going to correct us. He doesn't need to be a greedy boy. I do like this. This is much preferred. White Tower drop. Now, let's talk a little bit about why White Tower is good. Because everyone thinks, oh, King's Palace is amazing. I want King's Palace. Well, King's Palace can be amazing. But for a start, Zhuge Liang already got his second TC. At this stage in the game, Zhuge Liang has to be like, what, 70, 80 eco? Okay, in fairness, he lost like, what, 10, 15? Yeah. So he would have been, I think, around 65, 70 eco at this point. But the point is, like, going free TC in the situation is going to drag all your food into villager production when you actually need it to get a healthy army out of even knights or men-at-arms at this stage of the game. The other detail is by going for a network of castles, you save 800 stone to get access to network of citadels, which is a really big deal. Right now, the bigger deal is the fact that Zhuge Liang doesn't really have an army to defend, and his wall's going to come in a little bit too late here, so Snoopa, once again, being a pain in the ass, will just draw attention back on the defensive for Zhuge Liang and Serral, and with that move comes Dragons as well as he starts to march towards the French base. Serral's army heavily discounted right now. A lot of spears in this composition, as well as the crossbows. Is they've got all the answers to what Serral is cooking. Torture is going to come rapido here. Remember that the attack speed does affect the torch attack speed as well, interestingly enough. But even more interesting detail is the priority onto ranged armor here. Despite the fact he doesn't really need it yet. But the reason he's doing this is if he does get countered by the archers that are remaining in the base, it means he has that extra ranged armor to just last a little bit longer with these veteran spears. He understands that right now, it's all about how you counter the knights long term. However, I am a little bit worried about Dragon is getting dragged about right now. If he keeps chasing this, it's just going to be a wrap towards his crossbow line. Wait, drag. So, Snoopa, how do you feel about this team? Feeling good? Because I got a feeling he's about to get smashed at the back. Oh, interesting. Serral actually goes after the food sources instead. He could have wrapped around onto the primary army and taken out all the crossbows. And that would have meant that the archers just beat out the spears indefinitely. But instead, he doesn't want to trade military yet. He wants to force a dance. The dance they've been forced to commit to on the other side of the map in the past. They are going to make their way into the base. But behind this, it looks like Snoopa is fully stabilized. Ready to start churning out more Lancers. Now, the Lancers haven't truly been answered on the north side yet. That is still a very big issue for Zhuge Liang. Zhuge Liang has now committed the army south side, which opens up the entirety of his base to raids here. The walls, they were never complete. There's a gap right here. Essentially a gap. I mean, it's a baby wall, 10% HP. That'll burn down instantly, so easy enough for Snoopa to dodge the White Tower. The concern, though, is that they're going to be forced to commit to a fight on the south side, which is what's happening from Dragon. Commitment in with the villagers. He's looking for the castle drop, but the archers are sniping him out. Mangoes are going to put a blunt end to that, and Lombos, Zhuge Liang, he's attacking a ram right now. Oh, no, and the Mangoes, heavy smash coming in. Zhuge Liang doesn't realize. Yeah, guys, Age of Empires 4 is easy. You just A-click to play the game, right? No, this is exactly why you do not. Just wasting so much time attacking the ram. You know what it is? English players can't stand to see other people use rams. So remember the days where English players would just build Lombos, rams, and win the game? They're disgusted when other people try to do it. Outrageous. Maybe what's happening there is Zhuge Liang's like, you know, that's made of wood, my arrow's made of wood. If we add enough wood, does that cause like a wood implosion that would explode the rams and kill everyone around it? Possibly. Only one way to discover. And what you learn is that's exactly not how it works. As a result, Serral seems to have a small castle issue. I'm not talking about the age here. We'll continue to try to raid on the sides, but Spears are just trying to mirror his movements out. And remember, Snoopa hasn't actually joined in yet. No, Snoopa has been busy responding to subscribes on his Twitch account. He's like, thanks for the subscribe, 6969. Oh, thanks for the $10 coming out from Dono Bono 520. Whoop, whoop. Now he's finally ready to play the game again. Maybe what we realize here is that Zhuge Liang committed his army south side. So there is an opportunity to raid into the English base, shut out the ally of Serral. Serral already feeling very restricted here. We'll have to commit to a very defensive keep of the Rams. Where are the melee units? Oh, God, please use the villages. Please use something. How is this working? You build, we destroy. Oh, Rams are maybe finally going to be answered. Knights respond in time. This game is brilliant. Dragon is doing some mythical things, which seems fitting for their name. The fact that they were allowed to even walk up with rams like that and start destroying the castle is insane. I think this is a game of coffee breaks. Maybe what's happening is Zhuge Liang, Serral, they're playing a game of SC2 on the side, guys. Let's not be too hard here. There are definitely some miss micros, and this one is definitely costing Serral. A lot of stone has to be committed as well as idle villages to repair. Oh, God. The men-at-arms numbers are starting to build up, but you're building men-at-arms into crossbows. I think Zhuge Liang reads into the idea that ranged is good a little bit too much. Now the switch up into men-at-arms, I mean, everything is just countered right now. Insta pushback. These one-dimensional armies might find themselves in Problem Town. Now, if they wipe out the spears, the crossbows can be taken out by the knights, but... Oh, man. At what point do you just beg Serral to delete the houses? These choke points are actually their own downfall. These mango shots, just look at the bodies. Woo. Now, guys, these are not dead people. This is just fertilizer. They're acting as fertilizer to let the houses grow big and strong. There's nothing to be scared of here. Although, as soon as I say that, this might be something to be scared of. Hey, look, you're seeing this right now. See, look at this. Snoopa, if you got a Kurultai instead, you could have got an extra, wait for it, 12.5 damage on these trebuchets. 12.5 damage! See, told you the Kurultai's amazing. I'm not going to stop hating on the Kurultai. We're going to get it buffed, folks. Oh my God. Where's the army? This game has been very surprising to watch. I mean, this is not the sync up that I'm used to seeing Serral and Zhuge Liang do, but at the same time, something we did allude to very early on in the game is they haven't looked great when they're defending. I think Serral and Zhuge Liang are very comfortable as the aggressors. They seem to get a little bit lost when pressured like this. Especially when they're running static comp armies. Like, that's the brilliance of what happened here, is the commitment by the Ottoman player onto Serral forced this awkward situation where the static comp player had to come defend. And it means that if Zhuge Liang has to go back to defend his own base, it's got men-at-arms and longbos. It doesn't get slower than this. It even added Springles in the formation. And I mean, they are in the formation. Well, they'll finally reach up. I mean, heavy damage done. White Tower's already gone. Army's crawling in. Plenty of Lancers to play here. And I actually think Snoopa, he can 2v1 here. This is, folks, this is going to be a wipe. Lancers, he needs to get the mangoes up here. What are they doing? Traffic jam, they're on the way. Okay, as soon as I see it's going to be a 2v1, Lancers might get wiped out, as the mangoes apparently didn't get the earliest train ticket into London here. Instead, they idled behind. If the mangoes had been there on time, I mean, that would have been both armies wiped. Remember, both players here are mass archers. Still a heavy smash hit in. The Springles are going to return fire, so it looks like Snoopa's going to have to leave. But behind this, remember, we've still got the dragon. That's my dragon impression. Pushing in. I'm sorry, that was a very bad dragon impression. I think the dragon was being choked to death with marbles. Problematic as well when you consider all of the farms behind this. I mean, if Dragon just starts sniping them out, I don't think Serral can reboom an army. And I think Serral needs a lot of knights, right? Because he committed his knights previously into the eco area. He's up to 18 again, which isn't too bad, but I need a hell of a lot more than that. Speaking of those knights, a few of them were raiding on the backside. How many traders do we think Snoopa has right now? Enough to get him up to Imperial Age is a little hint here, as it looks like he's flirting with the idea. I'm going to say 32. 40! Look at him go! Look at him go! 50. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop. We're getting ahead of ourselves. I thought the Knights would have maybe killed more, but I guess not. Spearman outposts are a ginormous pain in the arse. I do find that getting shot in the arse with a giant ballista is quite painful, yes. Remember, Snoopa now making his way up. He's the only one doing so right now. Did this keep drop? I mean, this keep drop changed everything. The crazy part is how preventable it was. If the Longbows had not been attacking a ram, this keep never goes up. But the staging point has been a thorn in Serral's side. It stopped him from having a fast route towards the base of the Ottoman player, and it means that also he has to abandon Zhuge Liang to a 1v1 top, because you have to defend your base consistently against this. Now, it does create a 1v1 dynamic on both sides of the map, but it's a 1v1 dynamic where I feel like Zhuge Liang is heavily discounted. He's trying to switch into crossbows now, but mangoes plus so many lances and the micro Zhuge Liang. I think he's just got stand ground activated here. I don't think I've seen him once dodge Mangonel shots in this game. What a hard ass. This is the Vinnie Jones of English players here. Oh, what? He's going to shoot a rock at me? I'll headbutt the thing. Screw it. I might regret that, though. It's like he's going to get cleaned up. So Lance is definitely expensive units to commit into this, but good enough. We'll keep Snoopa alive. Remember, it doesn't matter that it's expensive. Snoopa can afford this. Now after this trade out, the upgrades are going to be coming through. At which stage we're going to be talking about elite lances, elite crossbows. Doesn't feel like there's much wiggle room left in this game for Serral and Zhuge Liang. I'm not saying you can't enjoy a giant ballista to the arse, Veggie. I'm just saying be careful of splinters. You know, you don't want to get an infection. Like Zhuge Liang is infected with Mongol raids right now. They never seem to stop. He can at least restructure the White Tower, so that'll give him a buffer point. They slow things down, but 1 or 2 bombards is all it's going to take at this stage. Might just be that Snoopa just decides to be a cheapskate and doesn't even build a bombard. Looks like they're finally in. This is what I was worried about, that is the flood through. Half your eco is about to be shut down. I mean, he's setting up more farms behind this, but that delays Serral further and further. Serral, I don't believe he's anywhere near pop cap. Okay, ignore me. I'm an idiot. He is at pop cap. Oh, I see. He's got a very large amount of villagers. Military force seems like it should be good, but if I'm not mistaken, like this is one of the awkward issues you can run into against the Ottomans with all that passive production. Look how weak his economy is in perspective, but like in comparison rather, but he's able to compete because of the passive production of 4 military schools in an Imperial Armory. And the reason I'm concerned about that is if you're locking yourself to say like 60 military, if you don't keep trading consistently with this Ottoman force, it'll crawl up to 100 plus military units. This is why I always describe the Ottomans as a delayed Delhi, and it's vicious. You are correct. It's still no network of citadels out of Zhuge Liang, which, I mean, I am losing my mind. It's crazy, because usually when you build the White Tower, this is my big justification, you get access to network of citadels, but Zhuge Liang has just been pulled left, right, and center. It seems like it's gone unnoticed. It's not expensive and definitely worth it at this stage. 200 gold plus 75 stone is all it would take. Zhuge Liang has definitely had the resources at multiple points, but instead, still no attack speed aura. And the crazy part is, if you think about it, like, yeah, we can say that he's defending, he's holding these battles in his own base somewhat. Imagine how much more dominant he'd be over Snoopa in these defensive clashes with it. It really would be the day-night difference. Give him a lot more troops to push back with afterwards, but instead, struggling to see a way he'll be able to push against this. Well, for the time being, we are going to see Serral push back against the siege. Finally, he breaks the keep. Breaks the pressure. He's able to get some room. He's got a lot of his base he's going to need to reclaim there. 2 landmarks already down. Treb's also just trying to snipe out the archers in the meantime. Remember, when you're trading siege like this as well as an Ottoman player, you're very happy because you get this for free. Like, the cost is time to you. That's it. Whereas for your opponents, it's time and resources. I'm really concerned, though, that even though the Ottoman player looks like he's broken to a certain extent, he's achieved his goal, right? He's distracted the French player, and it means that behind this, Snoopa's just boomed up to a ridiculous degree. I mean, the raids are finally coming in, but almost becomes a moot detail at this point, right? Unless you kill all of the traders, Snoopa is already Imperial Age, and he's already looking to escalate a premium army here. Bombard's also now being added in. Although, Snoopa, are we just giving up on crossbows? Okay. I was about to say, they haven't been upgraded. In fairness, it's very pricey to get elite crossbows, so even 20 might not justify the upgrade, but he's now switching to hand cannoneers. Can be dangerous up against the Lombos, but remember, this is a Lombo crossbow comp. Lombo crossbow comp that has no front lines. Zhuge Liang has not been building anything to protect this. Men-at-Arms fell flat, and since then, we haven't really seen him again. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Zhuge Liang has... Yeah, he has all of his military production on the front line. So this is really awkward because now, if Snoopa wants to win this game very easily, all he has to do is take his hand cannoneers and park them here in the archery range district. At which point, anything that comes out will instantly get killed. It's such an annoying place to find yourself in. And of course, the bombards, Treb's adding in. I think this one is looking close to done because now with the move by Serral up north, this army could clean up Snoopa. Look what's coming south side. Second keep drop. New wave coming in from the Ottoman ally. Dragon says, don't worry, bud. There's no French army here for me. You can deal with them, and I'll deal with the base. And Snoopa will do exactly that. Nice clash. Body blocks. Prevent him from being able to access those crossbows, so they're just going to reign supreme over the Knight Battalion. Archers behind this trying to assist, but this is looking pretty donezo. Army's just more or less going to be traded away. Even at the end of the day, I'm expecting Snoopa to have a surplus. And then the dive in with the keep commitment even deeper. And the Red Palace rush now. Serral, if this gets noticed, if this gets targeted down, he's done. Crossbows for the time being are not targeting out now. It looks like Dragon is maybe slightly distracted here. Zone keep will definitely not go up. Finally starts to target into the villagers, but needs to do this faster. Micro needs to be on point. Serral looking for the complete. Has completely lost the front line, but will get the Red Palace up. He will stabilize. Dragon, so focused on taking out the horsemen and archers, did not commit on the villagers. The Red Palace up. Serral, I'd say he reclaims his base, but don't know if you can really call this much of a base anymore. It's only a small part, though. He's got plenty behind this. Red Palace, it's a strong landmark, make no mistake about it, but when you get forced to commit it defensively like this, it's very reminiscent of World War II French. You know, oh, wow, look at that very strong defense you've got there, that we die if we ran it. What if we just ran around it? There's definitely ways to run around it here. North or south side, I'm expecting that rotation. Although for the time being, it seems like Dragon is going to commit with the trebuchets, the one unit that can actually take out the Red Palace without dying. Speaking of dying, Zhuge Liang is looking non-existent at this stage. In fact, do I even look? Oh, good God, yeah, he's got 10 military. And his economy is mostly only alive because of the backside. Like, over half of his, probably 2/3 of his economy on the east side of his base right now. And he's got this snaky group up north, actually. 23 villagers plus an extra 9 just being ignored. The food is going to become a problem at this rate. And remember, every time Snoopa takes out a farm, he is indeed getting paid quite damn well. There you go. 50, 50, 50, 50. It's making it rain right now. Whew. I'll tell you what. If people drop primes in my chat, like Snoopa's dropping farms right now, I would be set for next year already. I mean, this is insane. Just think of the ramifications of this. Like 37 witty, sure, no expensive for Zhuge Liang. But the payout is actually absurd to the Mongol player in this situation. Well, it would double that in return to himself. Payday, payday, payday. 150 resources. Even if these were normal farms, you're getting paid twice over what your opponent's going to have to expend to replace it. Insane to think about at this stage of the game. I'm surprised they haven't called it yet, though, to be honest. I mean, Serral now has the duty of defending himself and his teammate, and I think this just might be the final straw at this stage. Sapahi raid-in is going to be shutting him off his wood line. A pincer in from the west side as well, and this is short. Zhuge Liang will be the first to wave the white flag. And as historically is fitting, the French will follow suit fast.